Okay. Okay. Eh, okay, let's just start. We are done with Anki for today. We finished the tango. Let's just check. Let's just check. Okay, so I finished tango, but G-Lab I will do it later because I want to make a video. Tango, we have only 2 days of new cards, like 38, which is like 20 and 20, 40. So 2 days. But tomorrow and after tomorrow, so only 2 days is tango is going to make us suffer. 2 more days. And then it's just going to drop. Okay, but and I think when we reach like later we finish Genki, okay, and tango. G-Lab though, I'm not going to do any G-Lab today. No, I will do this ones that we have, but later because I want to record the necessary cards that I need for later. But anyways, so we now like the 15, we are almost halfway through. And we just continue. So now we do the ageru kureru. Ageru kureru. Properties. Speaker USB audio. Okay. And let's just listen.
Which would be about...
We cannot listen anything because I have to fix it here. Okay.
$10,000. Nani o shimasu ka? What are you gonna do? And tell me what you might do. I struggled with figuring out how I could explain this well because I think everyone struggles with this one when they first learn it. Maybe not everyone. I know I did. It still confuses me from time to time. And looking at it like this on the screen, it's still kind of confusing. Let's just look at this way really quick, and then I'll try and make it a little bit more simple for you. So we've got giver plus wa ga, either particle is fine.
Giving and receiving, okay.
Ni ageru, that means to give. Same thing, plus kureru also means to give, but not to someone else. Like, you can't use kureru when you give something to someone else. That's for when people give something to you or someone very close to you. It'll make sense in a minute, I promise. For morao, not to someone else. Like, you can't use kureru when you give something to someone else. That's for when people give something to you or someone very close to you. It'll make sense in a minute, I promise. For morao, so we've got give this way.
Okay, giving and receiving, okay. Giving and receiving. Giving and receiving, okay. Giving and receiving. Giver plus wa. Giver plus wa times ga. Times ga. Plus receiver. Plus receiver plus ni. Plus ni plus ageru, of course. Ageru. We conducten. Giver plus wa plus wa times ga plus receiver. Okay, I think I understand. No, it's not. It's confusing at first. I think I got used to it. Ni plus kureru. So you have, yeah, ageru to give. Kureru and... Wow. And receiver. Receiver plus wa times ga plus giver plus ni plus morao. Kara. Ah, ni or kara. Ni or kara. Or kara. Okay.
This way really quick, and then I'll try and make it a little bit more simple for you. So we've got giver plus wa ga, either particle is fine. Receiver ni ageru, that means to give. Same thing plus kureru also means to give, but not to someone else. Like you can't use kureru when you give something to someone else. That's for when people give something to you or someone very close to you. It'll make sense in a minute, I promise. For morao, which is to receive, the receiver comes first, marked by wa and ga, and the giver comes next, and you mark them with ni or kara. Kara is actually, I feel better using kara with morao. Yuki also tends to use kara more with morao, but ni is also perfectly fine. Also, I didn't put this in the formula, but any item that you're giving will be marked with the o particle. So, for example, we'll get into that with the example sentences. Now, that's a little bit confusing. So I decided to make a chart to sort of help it make a little bit more sense. Now, this chart is pretty complicated, but you can see here I've got arrows like from you, ageru, so give a thing to this person. But if that person gives you something and you want to say give, you use kureru, so you need a different verb. Now, if you give someone close to you, use ageru, and if they give you something, you say kureru. Now, you can also use morao to say you receive something from someone. But before we jump into all that mess, let's go one by one like this. So this is me over here, just hanging out in the you section. So let's start with ageru, which is to give, right? From you. So you're going to give something to someone, or someone else is going to give something to someone. So I'm going to give an item to my close friend. So then I'm going to use ageru. Andy wa close friend ni ageru. I'm going to give something to someone random. Maybe someone I don't know very well, or
Yuki,
someone I've never met before.
Hello.
Andy wa.
How is it going? So day 15. We we still have we still have plenty. If we finish these 2 videos today, we will have 7 more. So how are you? How is it going? I feel amazing. I feel today is Sunday. Sunday always is the best day. So we just keep going, never stop.
Random A ni ageru, right? Now, if my close friend gives something to someone else, someone random, or even to another family member, close friend wa random B ni ageru, right? Now, if random person A and random person B are giving stuff back and forth to each other, we use ageru, only ageru, just random people that we don't.
So yeah, we are doing ageru kureru again. I think I know ageru kureru. I think I know it. So yeah, just when you give something to someone, to another person, you say ageru. When this someone gives you something, it's kureru. And when you are the receiver, when you want to say I received, you use morao. So easy. So this is the guy, this is Tokine Andi. When he gives to random, he use ageru. When this random he gives him, you use kureru. When he receives, use morao. Or when the random person receives from Tokine Andi, he uses also morao. So the receiver. Okay. Giving and receiving.
My close friend. So then I'm going to use ageru. Andy wa close friend ni ageru. I'm going to give something to someone random. Maybe someone I don't know very well or someone I've never met before. Andy wa random A ni ageru. Right?
Ageru.
Now, if my close friend gives something to someone else, someone random, or even to another family member, close friend wa random B ni ageru. Right? Now, if random person A and random person B are giving stuff back and forth to each other, we use ageru. Only ageru. Just random people that we don't really know. We're just telling a story about how this friend gave something to that friend.
Ageru.
Not super close to you, like not family. Use ageru for always. It's always going to be ageru. So, random A wa random B ni ageru. So, random A gave something to random B. Random B wa random A ni ageru. Okay. So random B gave something to random A. So that's ageru, right? So these are the situations you can use. Give someone to someone random. You give someone to someone close to you or a relative. Someone close to you or a relative gives something to a random person, or random people giving stuff to each other. That's when you use ageru. All right. Moving on to some example sentences using this. We've got boku wa yuki ni ocha wo ageta. So this is Yuki's over here. Boku wa yuki ni ocha, right here. Ocha wo ageta. I gave her tea. I gave Yuki tea. So we need ageru there, right? Ageru is conjugated like an ichidan verb. So you just drop the ru and add ta. Here we've got A-san wa B-san ni boshi wo agemashita. So Mr. A gave B a hat. So that went this way. Mr. A-san wa B-san ni boshi wo agemashita. A-san gave, Mr. A gave Mr. B or Mrs. B a hat. Next sentence is Yuki ni game wo ageru tsumori desu. I plan to give Yuki a game is what this sentence implies, right? So I have no giver in this sentence, so you can assume it's me. Yuki ni game wo ageru tsumori desu. It could be someone else. Maybe B intends to give Yuki a game, but unless they've already come up in the situation, you can pretty much safely assume that it's me. Yuki ni game wo ageru tsumori desu. I plan to give Yuki a game. So that's ageru. Following along? Kureru is simpler. Kureru is only in these situations. If someone random gives something to you, if someone random gives something to someone very close to you, like your wife or your children or your mother or father, something that you can sort of see as benefiting you because it's to someone so close to you. So if someone gives your family lots of money, well, that might benefit you as well. So you can use kureru. You can also use it when someone close gives something to you. So generally, things moving from the outside of your domain of competence into you in some way, shape, or form, you're using kureru to mean give. You can never use kureru outward, giving to someone else, outside of your circle of, I guess, competence or the people that you are very close to. You can't use kureru in that situation. And random people that you don't really know, you're not going to use kureru to say that they're giving stuff to each other. You're only going to use ageru. So, giver wa receiver ni kureru. So, for example, random A wa boku ni kureru. So, random A gives something to me. Yuki wa boku ni kureru. Yuki gives something to me right here. Random B wa close friend Yuki ni nanika kureru. Give something to her. And also all of these situations, the item that they're giving is going to be marked with the O particle. So let's go over some examples. So Yuki wa is down here. 僕に so we're going this direction お茶をくれた Yuki gave me tea so we went in that direction, right? Next is 誰か so someone 誰かが now we don't know who it is so we're going to use が we're not going to make them the topic of the sentence we don't know who it is が someone random 誰かが Yuki に so Yuki's over here 帽子をくれました someone gave Yuki a hat some random person 両親が 両親 parents so we're over here my parents in particular 両親が over here 僕に go in this direction お金をあんまりくれない my parents rarely give me money almost never I would say never so 両親が僕にお金をあんまりくれない So you can use it in the negative as well to say not give, of course, just like any verb. It's just like any verb. By the way, all of these, あげる、もらうis different, but あげる and くれる are conjugated like ichidan verbs. Okay, so now もらう can be used in pretty much the same way as くれる in all the same situations. We can come from random person to close friend. Sorry that thing keeps popping up. We can go from a close friend into you or from a random person into you. Anyway is fine, but the direction here is reversed. If we go back up to kureru, we've got giver first, marked by wa or ga, receiver marked by ni. But for morao, we've got the receiver marked by wa or ga. They're the topic of the sentence. They're the main person who's receiving something. And the giver is who it's coming from. It's the direction it's coming from. So we mark them with ni. But more frequently, I feel like, at least where I live, kara. From. Kara means from, right? Ni can also just mean in a direction, but kara generally, this is the kara that means from. So
it's easier to remember
feels better,
kara,
I feel
by the
like,
way.
to say kara when you're using morao. So let's just go over some examples right here. Andy wa random A kara morao. So I received something from random A. In this situation, we've got boku wa, so I'm the receiver. Close friend ni or kara morao. In this situation right here, we've got close friend or relative wa or ga, random B ni or kara, morao in this direction, right? Morao can't be going outwards from you. Also, kureru can't be going outwards. So you can't say in Japanese that you received something from me. You can only say that you gave something from someone. Because you can't, think of it as perspective. Morao is from the perspective of yourself receiving something. The only reason you can use morao with a close friend or a relative is because you can be said to be able to see something from the perspective of someone who's really close to you. But you can't see something from the perspective necessarily, at least in Japanese, of someone who's not very, 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 very close to you. So you can't use morao in this direction. You can only see things from your own perspective, which means things coming towards you, kureru. You can see things coming at you and you can see yourself giving things to other people. But you can't see other people receiving things from you. That's not a perspective that makes sense in Japanese. I hope that makes sense the way I just explained that. But yeah, it's a matter of perspective.
So you cannot say he received something from me. And also you cannot say like random B received something from random A.
You give someone to someone. You do that from your perspective. So
kureru is only towards me, towards you. And morao also. So morao and kureru are almost similar.
That's how you need to describe it in Japanese. In English, we can mess around with that. We can mess around with perspectives. We can sort of manipulate them more. But you can't in Japanese. You can't do that. But suffice it to say that morao and kureru can be used in the exact same situations. If you look at the grayed out here section here, we've got kureru. So random person into me. Morao, same thing. Kureru, same thing. Kureru, same thing. Morao and kureru can be used in the exact same situations. It just depends on what you want to emphasize. The topic of kureru is the giver. And the topic of morao is the receiver. So which one is more important to you in that situation? Which one do you want to express more? Do you want to say you received something, or do you want to say that someone else gave something to you? So kureru will emphasize the person who's giving it. They're the topic of the sentence. So-and-so gave me this thing. Whereas the topic of a morao sentence is the receiver. In most situations, yourself. So I received something from so-and-so. So the more important part in that sentence is obviously marked by wa or ga, the receiver. So who do you want to emphasize? Do you want to emphasize the receiver or the giver? So that's how you're going to decide whether to use kureru or morao. Whereas ageru is always outgoing. It's between people. You can always use ageru if you're going to give something to someone. And that's all you're going to use if you're giving things to people. You're never going to use kureru or morao if you're giving. And if someone that is really close to you is giving stuff to other people, you're always going to use ageru as well. Ageru never comes into you. It's always going out. And between people you don't know, if items are changing hands, always going to be ageru. So let's go over some morao sentences. They're actually the exact same sentences. We just reverse them so that we can use morao. So, boku wa Yuki ni or Yuki kara ocha wo moratta. I received tea from Yuki. So if you looked up at the kureru sentence, the topic of the sentence is Yuki. Yuki gave me tea. Yuki wa boku ni ocha wo kureta. So Yuki is the topic of that sentence. She gave me something. But in this sentence, I'm the topic. I was given something. I received something. Boku wa Yuki ni or kara ocha o moratta. So now I'm the topic of the sentence. Boku wa Yuki kara choko o moraitai. I want to receive chocolate from Yuki. Boku wa Yuki kara chocolate o moraitai. Chocolate is often shortened to choco. I want to receive chocolate from Yuki. Next sentence is the same one as before, but ryoshin ga okane o morao to iteita. Ryoshin ga okane wo morao to iteita. My parents said they will receive money. So this is the sentence I was talking about before, basically. Ryoshin ga okane wo morao to iteita. My parents said they will receive money. So they're the topic of the sentence. Or they're not the topic, but they're the subject because they're marked by ga. They said they're going to get money. Okane o morao. So it's coming this direction, which is perfectly okay. This is so annoying. So it's a little bit weird. Hope that made it make a little bit more sense. Here's the big monstrosity, which is everything.
More clear
which
now.
is a little bit harder to follow, but I got a few examples here, actually the exact same sentence, and I'm showing you how you could express it using the different words. So, ageta. Boku wa Yuki ni ocha o ageta. So I gave Yuki tea, so that's right here. Boku wa Yuki ni. So I have to use ageta. I have to use ageru. I can't kureru or morao to people. I have to use ageru. It's going out. Now, Yuki wa, Yuki's the topic. Boku ni. So it's coming to me. Boku ni ocha wo kureta. So I have to use kureta because it's coming to me. Boku ni. If it was kara, you know that morao is going to come. You can't use kara with kureta. So Yuki wa, she's down here. Boku ni. So I have to use kureru. Or I have to use kureru. Kureta. I couldn't use morao here because Yuki wa boku ni ocha o morao. You can't use morao in the other direction to say that she got something from me. So it's got to be kureta. Boku wa Yuki ni ocha wo moratta. I received tea from Yuki. So I'm the receiver. I'm the most important part in this sentence. Coming this direction. Yuki ni ocha o moratta. Or kara ocha wo kureta. I don't know how to make it much easier than that. I wish I could. The only thing I can say...
It's more clear now. It's more clear. So, boku wa Yuki ni ocha o ageta. I, the topic, gave ocha to Yuki. Yuki wa boku ni ocha o kureta. Yuki gave kureta me ocha. Okay, and boku wa I received moratta you from Yuki cha ocha.
Or kara ocha wo moratta. Okay. We're going this direction.
It's more clear.
I don't know how to make it much easier than that.
It's clearer now.
I wish I could. The only thing I can say is that you need practice with it. The more you practice with it, the more easier it will become to understand. And maybe look at those charts a little bit and try to make sentences using them in the pattern. And I think you'll be able to get it, but it is confusing.
Tomorrow I will definitely forget it. So I need to find, like, I think the drills, we have the drills here. I need to find more practice. And also this exercise I also need to do also. Cofelio, I think, sent, or no, Pretentious sent a good drill, but it's about verb conjugation. I need to find drills for each grammar point. These are only conjugations. Yeah, conjugation. I will do a lot of these drills later on. So okay, so first of all, I mastered the drills, the conjugations. So I do a lot of conjugation drills and then try to find another drills for the rest of the grammar. Okay, and particles also. Particles very important.
So you just gotta practice. So let's go ahead and jump over into the dialogue. I'll read it slowly once, then at full speed, then we'll go into English and we'll go over the question. So, R さんからチョコレートをもらいました。僕にもくれた。僕も
R さんからチョコレートをもらいました。I received chocolate from R さん。Okay. 僕にもくれた。I also do. I also got chocolate.
もらいました。僕にもくれた。
僕にもくれた。I also got.
も R さんにもらった。
僕も R さんにもらった。I also got from R さん。
社長にもあげたと思います。
I think that the president of the company also got.
すごいね。
すごいね。Amazing.
多分みんなにあげたかもしれない。
あげたかもしれない。
Full speed. R さんからチョコレートをもらいました。僕にもくれた。僕も R さんからにもらった。社長にもあげたと思います。すごいね。多分みんなにあげたかもしれない。Let's go with the English. R さんからチョコレートをNo, I dropped the particle. もらいました。Probably should have the particle there since it is in a polite tone, but it happens sometimes. I received chocolate from Miss R. 僕にもくれた。She also gave me some. So we've dropped R-san from this. So the full sentence would be R-san は僕にもくれた. But because we've already had R-san in the previous sentence, you can drop it. As you always can in Japanese. にも to me as well. にも僕も R さんに or からもらった。I also received some from R さん. So in this situation, 僕 is now the topic. They're the main part of the sentence. I also received some from R さん。R さんからもらった。I also received some from Miss R. 社長にもあげたと思います。So 社長's not here. We're talking about 社長. So Miss R and 社長. If we go up and look at these circles, drop my face off the map. We go back and look at the circles. They're between each other, two people that we don't know. Well, we know them, but it's not us. Two random people. So Yuki or R-san, I guess, and Shacho. So we have to use ageru. Has to be ageru. Shacho ni mo ageta to omoimasu. I think she also gave some to the company president. Shacho is company president. Sugoi ne. That's something else, eh? Or that's amazing. 多分 also means maybe, and it often marks that a かもしれない is about to come at the end of the sentence. 多分みんなにあげたかもしれない。It's possible that she gave some to everyone. 多分 plus かもしれない。多分 sort of marks that かもしれない is coming. 多分みんなにあげたかもしれない。It's possible that she gave some to everyone. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell me about the last thing that you gave to someone. Tell me what is the last thing you gave to someone, anyone. So you're going to use ageru, obviously. I'll go back up to the examples so you can see what the pattern is. Tell me about the last thing you gave to someone and the last thing you received. You can use either morao or kureru.
So, 私は弟にヘッドフォンあげます。ヘッドフォンをあげます。
Giving advice in Japanese. Giving advice uses this. どうですか? The book presents it as
Covelho, how is it going? Oh, those are difficult. Haha, te ageru and te morau, te kureru. And later there are also te aru and teoku. Too much. I know teoku. Teoku and taru. But te morau, is it te form? Wait, is this? Ageru. Wait, I think te form later. We will see te morao and te kureru later, but I forgot their usage. So these are just ageru and kureru and morao. It's not te ageru and te morao. I think we will see them later in one of those lessons. In one of those lessons later. And also teoku, tearu, I know them easy. Not easy, but it's too much. It's too much, but they are not that complicated, to be honest. Teoku means to do something in preparation for the future, and tearu is a passive voice, like written, for example. Kakete written. But we will see them also. We will see them in the future lessons. In those future lessons. But those are what you heard above, but you can connect them also with te form. Yeah. I remember I read it in Genki. But I don't remember the usage, why they are connected with te form. But they are the same. Yeah, they are the same, connected with te form. So we will see them.
Tara do desu ka?
But
Which
now,
is fine. Either is fine.
Now I
prefer to think of it
understand.
as da do
Yuki
desu
is
ka.
back.
But to sort of explain that a little bit better, we'll probably have to look at sentences. But it's derived from the structure which hasn't been introduced yet. So I think they put this too soon. Sentence 1 plus tara do desu ka? And by tara, we mean the short past tense of a verb.
But
plus
there
da.
are indeed.
So for example,
they are indeed too much. And I don't remember everything, to be honest. Even though I did 2 times. I did Genki 2 times. I did the other playlist as well. Where is it? So I did this playlist, and to be honest, I don't remember everything still. Like, a lot of things I forgot. Yeah, everything I forgot. Except for the, like, very important stuff I still remember. But most of them I forgot. I think the only way I can remember them is just to practice, do drills. As even if I do them again and again and again, I will never remember them forever. I have to do practice. So I read the whole book and I watched this playlist and I still forget things. It's not easy to remember. They are too much indeed. The only way is to practice and also to make video about each topic. This way I think I will never forget them.
tabetara.
But let's just finish. I think I will finish all of these lessons and try. That's why you don't learn a language in 24 hours. Yes, it's not just a lot of vocabulary, but also a lot of grammar. So this one, for example, kamoshirenai. Yesterday I read it. I watched it, not read it, and wrote it here, but I forgot. I still forget. Hoshi, I remember. First Genki is for GPLT 5, yeah, N5, and the other one like N4. I think N4, he writes here N4. This is the second Genki book. I think it's N4, yes. I don't know if it's N3, but it's definitely N4. Maybe it has some N3. I don't know. But it's not, as Yuki said, you never learn a language in 24 hours. You need to learn a lot. You need to remember a lot. And to remember, you don't just read it in one time. You have to do it repetition, like repeat it so many times until it sticks in your brain. With a lot of practice, a lot of drills, and a lot of repetitions.
Tabetara. So adding da after the short past tense of a verb actually means if that verb. So tabetara means if eat. That's actually not shown up yet in Genki. Sentence 1 ending in a short form past tense verb, ta or da or whatever, plus da. Tara means if that verb.
We'll be back soon. Okay, Covello, take care. And I will be here until we finish. I'll be here for at least 1 more hour, at least. Sometimes I even learn new things about German as German. Of course, yes, as we said many times. Language is just never ends. Every language, still new things. Giving advice. Giving advice. It's about repetition, doing it over and over and over. How about? That's why after we finish this playlist, I'm going to do Genki again. But this time, I will read each like this chapter, for example, Hoshi, and make a video about it. Not only video, but also do exercises from here, the workbook. So I read it again. I will do Genki again for sure. I think if I make a video about it, explaining, giving examples, making Excel document, writing all the examples for Hoshi, for example, and making video explaining, teaching, whatever, I think it will stick better. I will learn it better, because all of this process to make one video takes a lot of practice, a lot of time. So we will see. Let's just finish this one in about 7 days. In about a week. I think in about a week we finish. How about, why don't you? Short verb past. Short verb past plus らどうですか?らどうですか?らどうどうらどうですか?
That's going to show up later in Genki, but it's the most, I'd say, basic form of if conditional, right? So this is using that. So we've got the short form past tense plus da. どうですか?
どうですか?
How about, or why don't you, is what this comes out. Literally, do is how is question marker. How is something something. So 食べたらどうですか means how about if eat, because the tara gives you an if. So how about if eat is what that would literally mean. Now, we do not use this like we do in English. Like, why don't you come over to my house? Inviting someone over to your house, you don't use that like that. In English, you can say that. Why don't you come over to my house? Like, as an invitation, right? We do not use rado desu ka to invite people to do things. It's for giving advice, and specifically giving advice when it's asked for. It's actually somewhat rude to use rado desu ka if you aren't first asked for advice. It's very presumptive of you to offer advice with rado desu ka if you haven't first been asked for it. So don't use it, basically, unless someone's asking you for advice. In informal speech, you can drop the desu ka, of course. That actually showed up in our very first dialogue this week. We just had something rado. It's very common. Let's go over some example sentences so that you can get a better idea of what this is. So my sentence that I was just talking about, 食べたらどうですか? Why don't you eat? Literally, how about if eat? Which becomes why don't you eat? 食べたらどうですか? How to be if something. How about if something.
So that's...
諦めたらどうですか? 諦めたらどうですか?
That's where tara comes from. It's a short past with ra. Okay, that's what he said earlier. Okay. 食べたらどうですか? Why don't you eat? Let's write it. Let's write one sentence. Okay. Always with ta. I wrote ta, tabeta so many times. People like to use tabe in their examples. 食べたらどうですか食べ Always the first example has to be 食べ。食べたらどう It's the only kanji I completely mastered right now. The 食べ。どうですか食べたらどう Why don't you eat? You eat.
About if something. 諦めたらどうですか諦めたらどうですか Why don't you give up? あげたらどうですか Why don't you give it to them? Is implied
あげたらどう
Why
で
don't
す
you
か
give it to them? あげたらどうで
Why
す
don't you
か
give
So you
it
see the
to-
past tense short form at だどうですか or just どう Now I mentioned that generally you're only going to be using this if you were asked advice about something to begin with. So I figured I should have some back and forth here. 仕事が嫌い。
仕事が嫌い。
I hate my work. どうしたらいい
どうしたらいい
What should I do? So here's that どう again. どう How or what it means. したらいい If, this is the if of する So したら if do good いい good So what would be good if I did it basically is what this actually literally translates to. What would be good if I did it? Better English, of course, is what should I do? どうしたらいい仕事が嫌いどうしたらいい I hate my work. What should I do? So you've been asked for advice here. You've been asked for advice. Now you can use どうですか without worrying about being rude. やめたらどうですか
や
Why
め
don't
た
you
ら
quit?
どうですか
Just like that. C さんが好きだな C さんが好きだな I really like Mr. or Mrs. C. プレゼントをあげたらどうですか
プレゼントあげたらどう
Why don't you
ですか
give them a present? So the person isn't necessarily asking for advice, but they're complaining about how they like someone. So now you've maybe got some advice for that. Now you can give them advice, and it's not really rude. And maybe they're close to you, especially based on the way they're talking. C さんが好きだな They probably consider you somewhat close if they're speaking that casually. Na I've translated here as really. It's just emphasizing the fact and making it a little wistful that they like C. プレゼントをあげたらどうですか Let's go ahead and jump into the dialogue. ホワイトデーが来るぞ。そうですね。
そうですね。
R さんに
Wait, let's just see the last example.
especially advice for that. Now you can give them advice and it's not really rude.
C さんが好きだな
And
プ
maybe
レ
they're
ゼン
close to
ト
you.
をあげたらどうですか Why don't you give them a present?
Especially based on the way they're talking. C さんが好きだな
Mm.
They probably consider you somewhat close if they're speaking that casually. Na I
あげた
translated here as really.
どうです
It's just emphasizing the fact. Let's go ahead and jump into the dialogue. ホワイトデーが来るぞ。
来るぞ。
そうですね。
そうですね。
R さんに
R さんに
何か
何か
買わなきゃいけませんね。
ね。
みんながもらったので、みんなからお金をもらったらどうですかどう
どう
し
して
みんなからもらってすごく高いチョコレートを買ったらどうですか
どうですか
あ、いいですね。
いいですね。
Full speed。ホワイトデーが来るぞ。そうですね。R さんに何か買わなきゃいけませんね。みんながもらったので、みんなからお金をもらったらどうですかどうしてみんなからもらってすごく高いチョコレートを買ったらどうですかあ、いいですね。Let's go with the English for that. ホワイトデーが来るぞ。White day's coming, guys. Zo is a very masculine yo. So it just means yo, but it's very masculine. So I just translated it to guys. White day's coming, guys. ホワイトデーが来るぞ。そうですね。R さんに何か買わなきゃいけませんね。Yeah, we have to buy something for Miss R, don't we? そうですね。Yeah. R さんに Miss R 何か something 何か買わなきゃいけませんね。We must buy something or we have to buy something for Miss R. みんながもらったので everyone received something from her. みんながもらったのでみんなからお金をもらったらどうですか So why don't we, in this case, 私たちはみんなからお金をもらったらどうですか? So I combined もらう here, right? So the receiver would be us. みんながもらった. Everyone received something. みんなが, they're marked with が. みんなが R さんからもらった, right? Chocolate. Everyone received chocolate from R さん. ので, so みんなからお金をもらったらどうですか? Why don't we receive money or get money from everyone? どうして? Why? みんなからもらって we
Wait,
receive
what?
the money from everyone. すごく
Everyone received みんながもらったので because everyone received something from here. How about we get money from everyone?
みんなが R さんからので、そう。みんなからお金をもらったらどうですか? Why don't we receive money or get money from everyone? どうして? Why? みんなからもらって we receive the money from everyone. すごく高いチョコレートを買ったらどうですか? And how about if we buy some super expensive chocolate? Makes sense, right? すごく高い really expensive チョコレートを買ったらどうですか? How about if we buy some really expensive chocolate for them? I should have probably had that all in brown, sorry. But I wanted to point out that it's 3 different words actually. どうですか? あ、いいですね. Good idea. The question, the example is me saying, お腹が空いた. I'm hungry. Give me advice. お腹が空いた. Our last section for tonight is give me advice.
ハンバーガーを食べたらどうですか? 食べたらどうですか?
お腹が空いた. Our last section for tonight is only and as many. Now, this shouldn't be a confusing section, but the English translation of the 2 terms we're about to go over is, I'd say, lacking. It's not quite dead on. Not the way that Genki calls it. I switched it actually to only to make a little bit more understandable, but it still doesn't, still not quite what I want it to be. The way that Genki refers to these 2 terms as, which are mo and shika, 2 particles, is as many as mo and as few as shika. I prefer to think of shika as only.
Shika, I don't remember mo and shika. Wait, as many as, okay, as many as, okay, which is noun plus ga or o. Ga or o plus counter plus mo plus verb. And as few as which is noun plus ga or o. Hello, Pretentious. How is it going? Pretentious is here. So yeah, we just keep going with Anki. Only a few days left. We are definitely going to finish, or hopefully we are going to finish before 30 days. I think in a week. But the videos that are left are going to be long. Like each video will be 1 hour long. So maybe, hopefully we finish in 24 days. Verb. And then I will do a lot of drills on conjugations. I really need to practice a lot. Because yeah, as I was telling Yuki also, even though I did Genki, this is the second time I do Genki, I still forget, and I don't remember everything for sure. Like a lot of grammar points I just forgot completely.
But the reason they say as few as is because you always use a negative verb with shika. You must.
Going great. Have a friend coming into town today, so lots of cleaning to do today. Amazing, very good. it's good to hang out, you know. So good luck also.
Use a negative verb with shika. Whereas with mo, you use a positive verb. As many as something. So that is noun plus ga or o. Either particle is fine. Number plus a counter. Mo, verb means as many as. So one other thing I need to mention is there's other ways to use these two particles, both mo and shika. There are many ways, but the only way we're covering in Genki lesson 14 is using it with numbers plus a counter, using it with numbers. So a certain amount, as few as a certain amount of this thing, or as many as. But you can use them in other situations. Like, for example, just a quick example of using shika is 俺は pumpkin pie しか食べません. So that sentence meant I eat nothing but pumpkin pie.
That is going well. I revisit the resources all the time. It's great for reinforcing. Yeah, it's you have to. What I realized is you just don't just do it one time and that's it. You have to revisit all the time. I don't remember a lot of things. I just forget quickly.
Sentence meant I eat nothing.
If I don't revisit, I will just forget.
しか食べません. So that sentence meant
don't practice.
I eat nothing
you don't
but
practice if you don't do drills.
I eat only pumpkin pie. Nothing but is probably the best English translation of that. So shika plus a negative verb just means nothing but that is, I feel like, an even better way to say it. But with numbers, as few as or only seems to make more sense. And that's all we're going over tonight. So basically how you use it is noun plus ga or o plus number plus counter. Mo, verb for shika, as few as. We've got shika, negative verb. Okay? Some example sentences will make a little bit more sense. So hon ga 2冊しかない.
2冊しかない.
Nai is the negative of
Ideally,
to
at
have.
some point, you'd start reading. Reading enhances both your vocabulary and grammar. Reading, yes, of course. And I think what you're saying is actually true, and kanji, of course. I experienced that with English. So I was forgetting a lot of grammar in English, but when I started reading and watching films, movies, I remembered a lot of grammar. So basically, you don't forget all the grammar you learn, but if you don't use them, you will not think about all the grammar you learn. But when you actually start reading and start using all the grammar points, they will come back. They will come back slowly. And the best way to bring all the grammar you learned alive to life, or you use them, is when you read and when you actually use them, when you actually watch movies. Because right now it's all hypothetical. Once it gets real, we are reading, of course. Yeah, once you practice, it gets easier to remember. Exactly correct.
Shika, negative verb. Okay?
That's exactly what I experienced.
Example sentences will make a little bit more sense.
So with English.
本が2冊しかない. Nai is the
本が
negative of
本が
aru, to have. So 本が2冊しかない. I only have 2 books, or I have nothing but 2 books.
They are just in the air, like all just grammar points in the air. But you have to bring them down and practice them. You have to use them. You have to make examples, make a lot of examples. See examples, see how they speak.
Nothing but. I should have, if I had spoken out loud when I was making this lesson, I would have changed this section from only to nothing but. Nothing but is a way better translation of this. Oh, I have it right down here. Nice. Okay, 本が200冊もある.
本が
So with も, it
200
means I have as many as 200 books, or something I like to use is a whole 200 books. That sort of gives the feeling of it in English, right? 50キロも歩いた is like I walked a whole 50 kilos, or I walked 50 whole kilometers, right? As many as, it just doesn't feel like it gives enough emphasis for this word. Mo is putting like a lot of emphasis. I walked a whole 50 kilometers. Whereas if you were to say like this sentence, 本が200冊もある, I have as many as 200 books, doesn't sound nearly as emphatic as I have a whole 200 books which is actually how this mo particle sounds in my mind. 2 kilo しか歩かなかった. I only walked 2 kilometers is the literal meaning of
story lessons, if I remember correctly. Do you remember? Rasake, a peanut. Yes, of course. Rasake. It's a very interesting word. Rasake consisted of hana, flower, plus to be to give birth, or to be born, or raw also. And the first one, rasake, to bloom, I think to bloom. Rakase, I think what I say, rakase, yes, rakase. Yes, absolutely. Early on, I fell into the trap of only memorizing vocabulary and kanji. But it wasn't until I started reading that things started really speeding up. Yes. Fall flower life. So, reading stories. Yeah, I will definitely go back to reading stories. So, absolutely, only memorizing vocabulary and kanji, it could help, but if you don't put them to practice, you will forget them. Because what's the point of vocabulary? Vocabulary, you have to use the vocabulary, put the vocabulary in sentences. So when you start the reading, it's really, yeah, the process starts to speed up, of course.
Of this, but since
you have to put them to use.
This is a negative. I walked nothing but 2 kilometers. You need to have a negative with shika. 50 kilo mo aruita.
I'm back, mate. I will be listening with you, of course. You are welcome. Because the flower falls and then it's reborn as a peanut. I remember. Yeah, we watched. I think Yuki, this is the first time you came to the stream, I think. So yes, the flower. I remember exactly the story. Flower falls in, gets in naka inside the earth, chika naka or something. Then it blooms, reborn as a peanut, as a rakase. It was very interesting story. The most interesting story out of all. It explained how the peanut grow.
100 円しかない. So it's a negative of
such stories leave effect, you know. You memorize the grammar because of the story, because the story is interesting.
100 円しかない. I want to buy lunch, but I only have 100 yen. Or I want to buy lunch, but I have nothing but 100 yen, which is about $1. お昼を買いたいけど100円しかない.
100円しかない.
Too bad, buddy. パソコンが3台もあるので1台を売ります. So here's the mo. I have a whole 3 computers. I have 3 whole computers. So I think I'll sell one. I will sell one.
I think after we finish this, I will try to find such stories. Very interesting. It left a lot of huge amount. It had also a huge amount of information.
売ります. 3台もある. 3 doesn't sound like much, but when it's
such
computers, 3 is a lot. And that's that. If you have any questions about it, get to those right after this dialogue.
I read all the easy. I read all the easy stories. So, we finished level 1, like level 0 and level ichi. We finished them all. Now and level start also 3 levels. Now we are at level 2. And I think I still have one story of level 1, I think. Level ichi. No, I watched this one. Maybe this one. This one.
Level 1.
Level 1. Yeah, this one, and then we go to level 2. But maybe because it's been a long time since I did the stories, maybe we go back to reading all the stories again. We'll see. Can you share this playlist? Of course, yeah. I need to share everything also. Go. Some things I still didn't share. I don't know why. Very useful. I watched a lot of videos. A lot of stories. Taroku. It's called Taroku. Playlist with how many stories? 94 stories. With 94 stories. Okay. Maybe which I need to find similar stories. Or some short. There are some short movies that are very interesting. I saw, but I didn't save.
ではどうだった？チョコレート1箱しかもらえませんでした。え？そう？残念。いいチョコレートだった？
いいチョコレートだった。
まあ、1箱は30万円だと言っていました。30万円もするチョコレートをもらった？ホワイトデーはどうだった？チョコレート1箱しかもらえませんでした。え、そう？残念。いいチョコレートだった？まあ、1箱は30万円だと言っていました。30万円もするチョコレートをもらった？ Wow. Let's go over to English. ホワイトデーはどうだった？ How was White Day? So there's another place that どう
ホワイトデーと
どうですか？ How was どうだった is how was or どうでしたか is how was something. チョコレート1箱しかもらえませんでした。I only received one box of chocolates or I received nothing but one box of chocolates.
しかもらえませんでした。So negative もらう to negative もらえませんでした with しか。I only received
得る is a little bit different from もらう. It's the potential form of もらう. So I guess a better translation of this would be I was only able to receive one box of chocolates, or I was only able to receive one box of chocolates. So my English is a little off there. チョコレート1箱しかもらえませんでした。Now, this is more common. I would say もらえませんでした is more common when saying you only received a certain amount of something. I was only able to receive a certain amount of something. Seems to be a little bit more common than もらいませんでした. I don't know why. I don't have an answer for why. But just know that when you're saying you were only able to receive a certain amount of something, もらえませんでした or もらえない or もらえなかった seems to be more common for some reason. I'll have to look into that sometime. I just accept it at face value for some reason. really? 残念. That's too bad. いいチョコレートだった? Was it good chocolate? まあ、一箱は30万円だと言っていました. Well, they said one box is 300,000 yen, or around $3,000. That's some good chocolate. 30万円もするチョコレートをもらった? You got chocolate that costs a whole 300,000 yen is what should be here. You got chocolate that costs a whole 300,000 yen. There's our も. 30万円もする. する can be used to mean something costs something. 30万円をする means that a thing costs a certain amount. It can be used in that way. So 30万円もするチョコレートをもらった? You got chocolate that costs a whole 300,000 yen? That's crazy. Our final question
is a great grammar point to learn. There's a lot of stuff that builds off of it.
For tonight.
Okay. So it says here, shika as few as or only. I don't think I will remember it, but it's used for negative with negative and with counter numbers. And as few as. And the noun that's used gets ga or o. Okay. So a little bit of examples. But again, if I don't do drills, if I don't practice, I don't think I will ever, I will forget it for sure.
Tonight is 何回日本に来たことがありますか?
何回日本に来たことがありますか?
How many times have you come to Japan? 何回日本に来たことがありますか? And you can, if you've been here, you can use the actual amount of time. So for example, 3回しかいたことがありません. If you're going to use しか, that needs to be ありません at the end, right? You're going to use ことがある, so ことがありません if you're using しか. If you've been here a lot of times, 10回も行ったことがあります. So unless you're here at the moment, you're going to use 行く instead of 来る. So I use 来た because I'm in Japan, so you came to Japan because I'm here. But if you are not in Japan at the moment, you're going to use 行く. So how many times? 10回日本に行ったことがあります. But if you want to say you want a whole 10 times, 10回も日本に行ったことがあります. That would be your answer. Okay?
Wait, when do you use shika? Where is the shika? So, wait, shouldn't we say Nihon ni ga ikai shika
ことがあります. But if you want to say you want a whole 10 times,
wait, I don't
you are
understand.
not in Japan at the moment, you're going to use 行く. So how many times? 10回日本に行ったことがあります. But if you want to say you want a whole 10 times, 10回も日本に行ったことがあります.
Because
That would
it's
be your answer.
10 times, it's not shika.
If you've never been here before, you can say that if you want. 行ったことがありません. Or you can just make one sentence of each using an imaginary number. Well, don't use imaginary numbers because I don't remember how to work with imaginary numbers. It's been like 15 years since I did imaginary numbers. Just make up some numbers. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into chat. I hope everyone.
So it is if you want to say
That
ikai,
means you can 今回日本に来たことがありますか? And you can, if you've been here, you can use 日本に来たことがありますか? And you can 日本に来たことがありますか?
anyways,
How many
let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's just break
Good
a
evening,
little bit of break. Okay. And while we take a break, let's watch Utah.
こんにちは。
こんにちは。
日本語ラーニングのゆうたです。
ゆうたです。
今日から Easy Japanese News
Easy Japanese
という
News
ポッドキャストを始めます。
ポッドキャストを始めます。
今日は
今日は
第1回ということで、僕の自己紹介と番組について説明をします。
番組のついて First Program。
じゃあまずは僕の自己紹介をします。名前はゆうたです。
名前は
日本語ラーニングという YouTube をやっています。
名前 name。
日本語を勉強している人が楽しく勉強できるようなコンテンツを作っています。あとはモバイルアプリのさくら NL の運営もしています。まだ使ったことがない人はぜひ使ってみてください。
See it。
日本で生まれて日本で育ちました。なので僕はネイティブな日本語を話す日本人です。好きな食べ物はたくさんあるんですけど、一番好きなのはラーメンですかね。
I think I didn't catch him, no. But because it's self-introduction, it has to be Jido Shokai. Jiko Shokai. Let's see it again. We learned that one the other day. Yeah, Jiko Shokai. But I didn't listen, didn't hear him say it. Jiko Shokai.
今日は第1回ということで、僕の自己紹介と
僕の自己紹介。My self-introduction.
番組について。
番組 means program. Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
説明をします。じゃあまずは僕の自己紹介をします。
自己紹介。Again, he said it again.
名前はゆうたです。
ゆうたです。My name is ゆうた。
日本語ラーニングという YouTube をやっています。日本語を勉強している人が楽しく勉強できるようなコンテンツを作っています。あとはモバイルアプリの
You have a mobile app called Sakura.
桜 NL の運営もしています。まだ使ったことがない人はぜひ使ってみてください。
ぜひ使ってみてください。Please check it.
日本で生まれて日本で育ちました。なので僕はネイティブな日本語を話す日本人です。
You can learn. I'm a native Nihonjin speaker. You can learn from something like that.
まあ好きな食べ物はたくさんあるんですけど、一番好きなのはラーメンですかね。
His favorite food is ramen.
はい。僕の自己紹介は、
My self-introduction.
まあ一旦これでおしまいで、次にこの番組 Easy Japanese News の説明をします。
My TV program is Easy Japanese News.
この番組では日本語を勉強している皆さん
This program is about 日本語learning
が日本のニュースを分かりやすい日本語で聞くことができる番組です。ネイティブの日本人が読む新聞の記事とかテレビのニュースでとても言葉が早いし難しいですよね。そこで
So this program simplifies the language. TV newspaper is very hard, 難しい. But this program makes it easy.
Easy Japanese News では日本のニュースを簡単な日本語で皆さんにお話しします。
So this 番組 this program Easy Japanese News makes Japanese easier for you, for everyone. Easy, simplifies, 簡単 simply than TV, than newspapers.
ゆっくりはっきりと話します。
Speaking slowly.
必要な時に単語とかフレーズの説明もします。だいたい1週間に1本。
roughly 1週間に one time
番組を配信する予定です。ぜひリスニングの練習とか日本語の勉強にこのポッドキャストを使ってみてください。
Check the podcast.
このポッドキャストのスクリプトはパトレオンで見ることができます。ぜひ使ってみてください。それじゃあ皆さん Easy Japanese News をよろしくお願いします。次のエピソードで会いましょう。じゃあね。
よろしくお願いします。Okay, I can recognize a lot of words, but he makes it easy. I really like watching his videos. I could recognize a lot of words, not fast enough to translate though, but very interesting. We are making progress. ゆっくり slowly. そろそろ Good work. I think you got most of it. So slowly we make progress. I can't imagine in a few months how much progress we can make when we complete like the 1 year, 365 days. Definitely we make a huge progress. But I watched all of these videos, all of them. It doesn't show red though. It's sad because I removed all the watch history. And I don't know which video I I watched and which not. Maybe I watch them again. Let's watch one more. Okay. Fluffy pancakes. Fua fua. Ah, we watched this one, I think. Fua fua pancake.
こんにちは。
こんにちは。
レポーターのゆうたです。皆さんはふわふわパンケーキを知っていますか？
Do you know the ふわふわパンケーキを？
ふわパンケーキを知っていますか？日本ではふわふわパンケーキがとっても人気です。
It's very famous, not famous, very well known. There was a couple of details that were a little harder to pick up, but I bet if you came back to it in a month, you'll pick it. Yeah, definitely. We just keep going until we make more improvement. But very interesting. His videos are very interesting. He speaks slowly, and you can understand a lot of things. He makes you understand. I will watch his videos again, definitely. So we keep watching the ふわふわパンケーキ。
ふわふわパンケーキがとても人気です。
とても人気です。So very well known. 人気 means famous or popular.
今日はふわふわパンケーキをレポートします。早速行ってみましょう。Let's go. 早速。Today 今日はふわふわパンケーキをレポートします。I will report. 早速。
What does 早速 mean? 早速 at once. Besides 行ってきましょう。早速。Popular, yes, the 人気。But 早速 I don't know. Near or close? At once, immediately. Let's go immediately. Okay, let's go immediately.
行ってみましょう。
早速行ってみましょう。ふわふわパンケーキ。
とってもふわふわしています。フォークで叩くとふわふわしているのがわかります。
Wait. Fork with a fork 叩くと if you 叩く I think to touch, to strike, to hit with a fork ふわふわしているのがわかります。So it's ふわふわする。You can see it fluffy, what he's trying to say. When you touch it with a fork, it's fluffiness. ふわふわする。
ふわふわしているのがわかります。ふわふわパンケーキです。いちごのソースをかけます。いちごのソースをかける。
いちご means strawberry sauce.
うわ。美味しそうです。
美味しそうです。
めちゃめちゃ美味しそう。じゃあふわふわパンケーキを食べます。美味しそうです。
いただきます。いただきます。
口の中からなくなりました。
口の中からなくなりました。It melts in your mouth inside. なくなりました。I think なくなりました。I think it means melt, no? To die in your mouth. To be lost, to be missing, yes, to melt, to be missing. Okay, yeah, to melt.
パンケーキが溶けました。とっても美味しいです。これはいちごで。
Now I am hungry. we need a ふわふわ pancake. I went to one of these places. It was pretty good, but not really that different tasting. So the same taste as pancake, you mean, as a normal one.
です。
But did you add the ichigo sauce?
これは
これは
イチゴです。
イチゴです。This one is strawberry.
これは
これは
ブルーベリーです。
ブルーベリーです。
これは
これは
ブルーベリーです。
ブルーベリーです。
これは
これはバナナです。
バナナです。
バナナです。
これは
これは
バナナです。
バナナです。
フルーツがたくさんあります。
たくさんあります。Has a lot of
コーヒーを
fruits.
飲みます。
コーヒーを飲みます。Let's drink coffee.
パンケーキとコーヒーは
コーヒーは
最高です。
最高です。Pancake and coffee are 最高。Best. Supreme.
パンケーキと
パンケーキと
コーヒーは
コーヒーは
最高で
最
す。
高です。
もっと食べたいです。
食べたいです。
もっと食べた
I want to eat more. もっと食べたい
いで
です。
す。僕はふわふわパンケーキが大好きです。
大好きです。I really love ふわふわパンケーキ。
僕はふわふわパンケーキが
ふわふわパンケ
大
ーキが
好きです。
大好きです。
ぜひ皆さん
ぜひ
日本に来たら
日本に来たら
食べてみてください。
食べてみてください。
ふわふわパンケ
ふわ
ー
ふわパンケーキ
キとっても美味しかったで
とっても美味し
す。
かったです。
皆さんも日本に来たら
皆さんも日本に
ぜひ
来たら
ふわふわパンケーキを食べてみてください。
食べてみてください。
他に
So 皆さん日本に when you come to Japan if 来たらぜひ definitely ふわふわパンケーキを食べてみてください。Try to eat ふわふわパンケーキ。
来たらぜひふわふわパンケーキを食べてみてください
食。べてみてください。
他にもレポートしてほしいことがあったらコメントで教えてください。
教えてください。
レポーターのゆうたでした。
ユタ。Very nice. Okay, so that was a good break. I think every time we make a break, we do a break, we watch a video from here. もっと食べたいです。every time we do a break, we watch a video from here, which is a very good break, very productive break. So yeah, I feel energized now. Yuta give us energy.
Everyone, and welcome to the Tokini and Genki 2 lesson 15.
僕腹が減ってるんです。To become hungry. お腹 that's お腹の the first 漢字。お腹が座ってるんです。腹 that's 腹。abdomen belly that's お腹の okay. But
live stream today we're gonna
fuwa pancake. I need to eat fuwa pancake. But Pretentious says it's the same. It's not that different from a normal pancake.
be covering the
pancake.
volitional form, which is like let's do something.
Hello, Hiragana is you. Where are you from? Hey, talk with me. Okay, bye. Okay, so I'm sorry, Sakura. I'm sorry, I didn't see. I am sorry. I didn't see.
Resolutions with the volitional form, doing things in preparation with te oku, and modifying nouns with entire sentences. Here is the color codes for you, and before we get started, I'm going to bring this up really quick.
Short video, we're going to do volitional form.
If you'd like to help support Tokini Andy channel and all of these lessons, please check out the Patreon where we have textbook practice videos, listening and shadowing videos, vocabulary videos, tests for all of Genki 1 and eventually all of Genki 2. We've got a merch store and a few other things. And one of the best things you can do is just hit the like button, share this video with anyone you know who's studying Japanese, and study hard yourself. All right, guys, are you ready? We are going to be covering the volitional form. It might look a little complicated, but I promise you it's not that complicated at all. So the volitional form basically means let's or shall we do something with when combined with something else, which I'll show you later. So keep that in mind. It just means let's do something. So before we can get started with the volitional form, what we need to do is we need to do a crash course in Godan conjugation. If you want a full overview of what Godan conjugation is, and you're watching on the replay, there will be a link over here that goes into detail.
So I know what I know is onaka ga what something, and this one is hara ga heru hara ga hetterun desu hara ga hetterun desu.
The Japanese names of each type of conjugation and everything, it's actually quite simple. So, Godan conjugation crash course, here we go. Verbs that end in utsu, mu, bu, nu, ku, gu, su, and sometimes du are Godan verbs. Verbs that end in iru or eru, those sounds, not necessarily the characters iru and eru, but the sound I followed by the character du and the sound e followed by the character du, those are usually ichidan verbs. Not always, but most of the time they're ichidan verbs. Now I'll go over what those are as we go on. So, to conjugate a Godan verb, all you need to do is move it from its dictionary form, which is right here. This is the verb aruku, to walk. So the dictionary form is aruku. So that's right here in this hiragana chart. And if you move it up the chart, we get aruki. And if you move it down the chart, you get aruke. And then what's going to happen is as you move it up and down the chart, you add some other ending. So for example, if we go back up to aruki and add masu,
okay, take care,
arukima.
I will finish this for sure. Definitely I will finish it. And I think that's it. Maybe watch a video from here, maybe. But I definitely finish this and that's it. I wrap it up. And tomorrow we watch the rest. Yeah, only this. 30 minutes. 1 hour most. 30 minutes to 1 hour. Because 1 hour, because I might pause the video and write. So I'll definitely need more time, more than 30 minutes. But yeah, about only this video and that's it.
And that's the polite present tense.
Anki
for example,
done,
okay?
And only this
aruke, actually on its own is a command, and arukeru means can walk. So that's just different kinds of conjugations you can do with Godan verbs. Now, to make the volitional form of Godan verbs, what you do is you move down to the o column.
Oh.
So aruku becomes aruko. And then you add u. So aruku, aruko, aruko. So you extend it. Aruko. It's basically extending it.
Oh. With ooh. So aruko. Okay, let's write them. Okay, let's write. This one is very important. So aruku. Okay, then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, Tuki. Take care. Matashita, I'll definitely be here tomorrow. Definitely. Aruku. Aruku dictionary. Okay, dictionary. Dictionary becomes Aruku becomes Aruko. And you add the u. Okay, that's it.
Okay? And that's the volitional form of Godan verbs. That's it. That's all you have to do. You move down to the o column, add u. For ichidan verbs,
aruko. So it's a stem, volitional stem, and plus o. That's it. Volitional stem. And you just add o. Okay.
Basically extending it, okay? And that's the volitional form of Godan verbs. That's it. That's all you have to do. You move down to the o column, add u. For ichidan verbs, and that's, remember, ones that end in the sound iru or edu, all you have to do is cut off the du and add yo. For example, miru, you cut the du, and add yo. Miyo. So before we had aruko, that means let's walk. Miyo means let's look.
You add the yo also. Wait. You add yo. Ichidan. Ichidan. You drop ro. And add yo. Okay.
For ichidan verbs, and that's, remember, ones that end in the sound iru or ed. For example, miru, you cut the ru, and add yo. Miyo. So before we had aruko, that means let's walk. Miyo means let's look. That's it.
That's it. Miru, you remove the ro. Okay, becomes mi. Mi. And comes mio. Volitional dictionary, volitional stem, and
that's the volitional form. There are these irregular verbs. They're always irregular verbs. Suru and kuru. Suru becomes shio, so you have to change everything. Kuru becomes koyo, so you have to be careful. The sound of the first character changes. Kuru becomes koyo.
Suru, shio. Suru. Shio. And kuru. Kuru becomes koyo. Okay.
Now, if you add ka, the question marker, to the end of the volitional, it means shall we something. Not big eyes.
Volitional plus ka. Okay, I think I know volitional. Volitional plus ka. Shall we?
Shall we something. So, arukoka means shall we walk? And that's the volitional form, guys. So let's go ahead and go over some example sentences and see if we can make that a little bit more understandable. So, kao is the verb to buy. The volitional is kao. Let's buy, or let's buy it. Oyogu is the verb for swim, which becomes oyogo. Let's swim. Nomu is the verb to drink. So nomoka means shall we drink? Miyoka means shall we look? I feel like that's pretty simple, but you guys let me know a little bit later if it's not, or let me know down in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. All right, so some more complicated sentences. We have hon wo kao. Let's buy a book. Kyou wa ii tenki da ne. It's nice weather today, isn't it? Oyogi ni ikou ka. Shall we go swim? So here the volitional form is the attached iku. So oyogi ni iku. Iku means to go and swim, so you have to turn that last iku into the volitional form to make the whole thing volitional, right? Oyogi ni ikou. Oyogi ni ikou ka? Shall we go swim? そのことが本当にあったかな? 調べよう. I wonder if that thing really happened. そのことが本当にあったかな? I wonder if that thing really existed. I wonder if that thing really happened. Let's investigate. Investigate is shiraberu. So shirabeyo. It's an edu verb. Because be, it ends in the e sound followed by du. So you cut the du, add yo. Shirabeyo. Let's investigate. Osoku narisou da ne. It looks like they will become late. Hajimeyo ka? Shall we start? You might hear this at like a drinking party or at a meeting or something. Someone looks like they're going to become late. Osoku narisou da ne. Hajimeyo ka? Shall we start? Shall we start eating, or shall we start drinking, or shall we start the meeting? Basically like that. Osoku narisou da ne. Hajimeyo ka? So let's go ahead and jump into the dialogue. I'll read it slowly one time, then at full speed.
So, kao oyogo nomou ka miyou ka. Okay. Volitional form is easy.
Shiraberu. It ends in the e sound followed by du. So you cut the du, add yo. Shirabeyo. Let's investigate. a meeting or section, and after that I can take questions. ねえ、お腹空いている。ラーメン食べに行こうぜ。いや、うちで食べようよ。でも、ラーメン食べたい。じゃあ、ラーメンを作ろう。そうしよう。手伝おうか。大丈夫だよ。はい、full speed。ねえ、お腹空いている。ラーメン食べに行こうぜ。いや、うちで食べようよ。でも、ラーメン食べたい。じゃあ、ラーメンを作ろう。そうしよう。手伝おうか。大丈夫だよ。はい、let's get to the English。ね、お腹空いている。ラーメン食べに行こうぜ。
お腹空いている。The same that I was saying to Yuki. So, お腹空いている。
The English. ね、お腹空いている。ラーメン食べに行こうぜ。Hey, I'm hungry. お腹空いている means I'm hungry. You often drop the particle. It should be お腹が空いている would be the full sentence. But
Hello, how is it going? Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see the comment. How is it going? So, you said hiragana is easy. Hiragana is very good to learn. If you learn it, it will give you a huge motivation to learn more. That's what it gave me also.
In conversation, especially with this phrase, the ga is very frequently dropped. Onaka suiteiru ramen wo.
So did you learn hiragana? If you see here, I actually learned hiragana and also katakana in about 2 days, 3 days. But definitely it wasn't like I still needed to practice also. Like, no, you don't only just learn, but you have to read also. I read a lot of hiragana and katakana.
食べに行こうぜ once again in conversation. We often drop the O in this situation. Ramen. 食べに行こうぜ. Let's go eat ramen. So once again, it's 食べに行く. So you conjugate the iku into the volitional. 食べに行こうぜ. Let's go eat ramen. Ze it's just like yo, but it's a masculine yo, very similar to zo. Zo and ze are very similar when they're used as ending particles in meaning. They're basically just exclamation points like, yeah, let's do it. Ya, uchi de tabeo yo. No, let's eat at home. Tabeo yo. Kataru, add yo for taberu. Ya is like nah, no. I translated this as seriously. Demo, ramen ga tabetai. Once again, we drop the particle usually when we are in conversation. Okay. Not usually, but very frequently. Ramen tabetai. I want to eat ramen. Ja, ramen wo tsukuro. Let's make ramen. So shio. Let's do that. So, that should be green. Shio, let's do. 手伝おうか. 手伝おう is to help. So, shall I help you? 手伝おうか? 大丈夫だよ. This 大丈夫だよ means it's okay. You don't have to help is what that implies. It's okay. So our practice section for this section is you're coming to visit Japan, everyone. I want you to tell me something that you want to do together with me and Yuki or with us. Okay, so tell me something you want to do together with us or with your friends that you're coming here with if you don't want to hang out with us, if you're too cool for us. What I would say is, ramen mo tabeyo. Let's eat ramen. So go ahead and you guys can make some sentences using the volitional form and any verb that you want of something you want to do together with us when we get to Japan or with whoever you're going to Japan with. All right, our next section is resolutions using the volitional. This is also a very, very simple section. First, you need the volitional form. You just learned how to make that. If you didn't, click back on the
resolutions using the onaka tsuiteiru at regular conversation. It makes me confused. Usually we talk like Clemens Janko. Onaka suita. Onaka Aita or Sweeta. 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 Or Aika. Onaka aita. So onaka suiteiru makes the sentence makes confused. Sweeta. Wait, sweeta, not aita. Okay, sweeta. So onaka suita is more correct than onaka suiteiru. He said what was the sentence? Onaka suiteiru. Okay. There is also another sentence that my friend Yuki here said, which is, let me just find it. Harage heru hetteiru. Hetterun desu. This one. Usually use past sentences. We use even if you are hungry. So even if you are now hungry, you use past tense. Okay. So this one is the other one, which also has the onaka kanji, but it's read as somehow, when I translate it, is read as hara. Haraga hetterun desu. Hetterun desu. Haraga hetterun desu. What do you think about this one? So sweeta, always use past tense. Okay.
Ending particles very similar to zo. Zo and ze are very similar when they're eat ramen.
Probably leaning grammar is okay, but actually conversation is a little bit different. Learning grammar. Okay. So
very frequently dropped. Onaka suiteiru ramen wo tabe ni ikouze. Once again, in conversation, we often drop the.
So what you're saying is you should use it in past tense and not teiru, like now. I am hungry now. Even if it's now, definitely in conversation is used as past tense. Okay, that's actually good to know.
Japan with. All right, our next section is resolutions using the volitional. This is also a very, very simple section. First, you need the volitional form. You just learned how to make that. If you didn't, click back on the timestamp if you're watching this in the replay, and you can learn how to make that. So you take the volitional form, which you just learned how to make, and you add toomo. You didn't. Simple section, resolutions
using the volitional. The volitional. Ze is in girl. We don't use it. That guys use it. Wait, ze. He used in a. What did he say about ze? I don't remember. He said zo.
Masculine. Ze is, it's just like yo, but it's a masculine yo. Very simple.
So ze is not masculine. As in girl, we don't use it. That's guys using. Ze. You mean you are in girl and you don't use ze. Guys use it. Okay.
Similar to zo. Zo and ze are very similar when they're used as ending particles.
Zo, like zo, no? Like zo.
In meaning, they're basically just exclamation points like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Uchi.
Okay, so ze like zo, no? He's correct. Sometimes he doesn't make right points.
De tabeyou yo. No.
That's guys use it. Okay. So how are you, Clement, Janko? How is it going? Genki desu? Genki desu ka? Genki desu ka?
Iru form of to omo. Omotte imasu. And that means that you've...
Genki desu ka? Volitional. Watashi wa totemo genki desu. Volitional. Okay, a decision already made. And decision and decision already made. And decision already made. Volitional plus to 思っています。と思っています。Volitional plus と思っています。Writing kanji again. Kanji is very beautiful to write. It's like drawing. It's so cool. Chisaitsu de also hiragana also. Teimasu. My writing is getting better every day. A decision already made. A decision made on the spot. And decision made on the spot. Decision made on the spot. Volitional plus と思います。と思います。と思います。Okay.
Made a resolution or a decision, and you've already made it. It's been made in the past. You've decided you're going to do whatever this verb is. You made a decision to do that thing. You'll see in the example sentences what this means more. A decision made on the spot, like right now, you take the volitional and と思います. That's what the difference is between と思っています and と思います. と思っています means the decision was made in the past, and you're talking about it now. A decision made on the spot while you're talking to a person or just right now is と思います along with the volitional. So you'll remember that ましょう is also the volitional, but it's the more polite form. You cannot use the polite form volitional here. It has to be the short form volitional. So for example, with 食べる, you can't say 食べましょうと思っています You have to say 食べようと思っています It has to be the short form volitional. So I think you're going to need some example sentences to see what I mean. So let's go ahead and take a look at 買おうと思っています I intend or decided to buy it. You can think of this like I have been thinking about buying it, or I have been thinking to buy it. That's probably a better way. It's just the volitional, but it's the more polite form. You cannot use the polite form volitional here. It has to be the short form volitional. So for example, with 食べる, you can't say 食べましょうと思っています You have to say 食べようと思っています It has to be the short form volitional. So I think you're going to need some example sentences to see what I mean. So let's go ahead and take a look at 買おうと思っています I intend or decided to buy it. You can think of this like I have been thinking about buying it, or I have been thinking to buy it. That's probably a better way. It just doesn't sound very good in English, but I have been thinking.
Let's write this one also, one example. Kao. Kao to omotte imasu. To omotte imasu. So it's like I intend, I decided Or I was thinking.
I have been thinking to buy it.
I have been thinking to buy it.
Better English would be I intend or decided to buy it. 買おうと思います。So here we have 思います instead of 思っています。That's I think I'll buy it. So I'm at
decision made on the spot. A decision already made.
The store. You know what? I think I'm gonna buy this.
買おうと思っています。と思います。買おう。買おうと思います。I think I will buy it と思います。I think I'll buy it.
買おうと思います。That's the difference there. It's something you didn't plan on coming to the store to buy. Like I went to Best Buy or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this new computer.
Covelio, in weekend I have no time to study. Good thing that I can hear you in meantime. That's nice. That's very good.
Computer. 買おうと思ってます. I've been thinking about it for a long time.
Hopefully I can help. Hopefully I can help. That why not? I plan to make it even more productive. You know, the past time or all this time I have been trying only for me to learn, but I want to make the stream for everyone to learn. You know, to share the knowledge. I will definitely try some ways to do that, like watching Utah, for example, doing similar things to Utah, the video that we watch here. I want to make the stream more interactive. People can join and learn also, not only I learn, you know. But we will see. We will see.
A monitor that I really want over here, or a camera. Oh, I want that camera actually. You know what? I just saw that camera for the first time ever. 買おうと思います. I'm gonna buy it. Next sentence, same kind of example. 調べようと思っています. I intend or decided to look into it. 調べる is to look into or to investigate. So I decided to look into it. I have been thinking about looking into it. 調べようと思います means I think I'll look into it. So someone just told you some new information. 調べようと思います. I think I'm gonna look into that. I'm not so sure. Some more complicated sentences.
Wait,
この車が古いから思います or to investigate.
So, 調べようと思っています. I intend to look into it. So, a decision already made. But 調べようと思います. I think I'll look into it. A decision made on the spot. Okay, I understand. I think. Let's write it. Okay, that's a very good example to write. So, 調べよう しら調べよう I understand, I think now. What do you mean by decision on the spot or decision already made? So, 調べようと調べようとっています。 So, a decision already made. I decided long time ago to look into it. So, decided, like decision already made in the past, decided to look into it. Okay, but 調べようと思います。On the spot, the decision was made on the spot. I will look into it. I decided on the spot. I think I'll look into it. The decision was made on the spot, not like 調べようと思っています, which is I already decided in the past. So, okay, I understand now. 調べよう調べようと思います。調べようと思います。I think I'll look into it. I think I'll look into it. Okay. I understand.
So
now.
I decided to look into it. I have been thinking about looking
That's
into
amazing plan. We'll see how it goes. Let's just finish with this challenge. And definitely, I want to make the stream more interactive. And also introduce games also. Like the ones you showed. Your game collection. Hopefully I find some good games like Shin-chan, for example. I have it here. And we'll see how it goes. So definitely the stream will be more interactive in the future. I have some good ideas. I haven't started working on them, but we'll start for sure.
調べようと思います means I think I'll look into it. So someone just told you some new information. 調べようと思います I think I'm gonna look into that. I'm not so sure. Some more complicated sentences. この車が古いから新しいのを買おうと思っています This car is old, so I intend to buy a new one. You could also read this as This car is old, so I have been thinking to buy a new one. この車が古いから新しいのを買おうと思っています So this no is taking the place, I believe we covered this quite a while ago somewhere in Genki 1. This is taking the place of 車 because saying この車が古いから新しい車を買おうと思っています That's very repetitive, so you can use no in place of it.
Right, so この車が古いから because this car is old 新しいのを買おうと思っています I intend, I already made the decision to buy a new one. So 買おうと思っています
この国は寒
I intend to buy a new one. Okay.
すぎるから
and also 新しいの No, this is another grammar point that we did earlier, or maybe we are going to do later. So no is the car. So 新しいのを買おうと思っています
A while ago somewhere in Genki 1. This is taking the place of 車 because saying この車が古いから新しい車を買おうと思っています That's very repetitive, so you can use no in
新しい
place of
の instead of the 車 Okay, instead of saying 車 again
この国は寒すぎるから帰ろうと思っています So here
この国は寒すぎるから帰ろうと思っています
Here, この国 is the new topic. It just came up in the conversation. That's why we're using wa instead of ga. New topic in the conversation. Perhaps this conversation was going on for a while. この
So ga is used when it's when the sentence is continuous to previous sentence. But when it's wa, it's a new topic. Never been mentioned. Okay, this country never been mentioned.
国は寒すぎるから This country is too cold, so 帰ろうと思っています。I るから
この国は寒すぎるから because this country is so cold.
This country is too cold, so
Too cold.
帰ろうと思っています。
帰ろうと思っています。I
have been thinking I'll go home.
I've been thinking, not I think. I intend to go home.
Or I think I'll go home. 明日電話しようと思っています。I intend to or I have been thinking to call tomorrow.
明日電話しようと思っています。
These are some very common examples you might hear this used in. 明日電話しようと思っています。This one is pretty common. I've been thinking about calling him tomorrow. Don't feel like doing it right now. All right, that brings us to our dialogue. I'm going to read it slowly one time and then I'll read it full speed. We will go over the English. We'll do a practice section and I'll get to your questions. So here we go. If you have any questions and you're watching this on the replay, please drop those down in the comments and I'll answer them as soon as I can. R on the phone. もしもし。Y さん。
Y さん。
あ、R さん。おはようございます。
おはようございます。
今日もお昼を食べに行きましょうか？いや、今月家で食べようと思っています。そうか。新しいイタリア料理のレストランができましたが、どうしたの？ New person. R さんと食べに行こうと思います。何？ Remember, we were just gonna make ramen. Maybe this is the next day or something. もしもし、Y さん？あ、R さん、おはようございます。今日もお昼を食べに行きましょうか？いや、今月家で食べようと思っています。そうか。そうですか。新しいイタリア料理のレストランができましたが。Click。どうしたの？ R さんと食べに行こうと思います。何？ Let's go over the English.
もしもし means hello.
もしもし Y さん Hello Y? あ、R さんおはようございます。Oh, R.
おはようご
Good
ざい
morning.
ます。
今日もお昼を食べに行きましょうか？ Shall we go and eat lunch again today? 今日も so today as well today. So they've gone to eat lunch before, probably many days in a row. お昼を食べに行きましょうか？ So we're using 行きましょう instead of 行こう. We're in a polite situation. いや、今月家で食べようと思っていますね。I've decided or I have been thinking to eat at home this month. 食べようと思っています。そうですか。新しいイタリア料理のレストランができましたが。Is that so? That's too bad. A new Italian restaurant was finished or completed, but できました can be like something was completed. They finished making something. Stuff like that.
I thought it was to go out.
What's up? What's wrong? R さんと食べに行こうと思います。I've just decided to go eat with R. What? 何? Alright. So the practice for this section is, what is one thing you plan on doing in the new year? And this is what I plan on doing in the new year. ラーメンを食べようと思っています。I've been thinking I will eat ramen in the new year. Doing things in preparation with 手置く. 手置く. To say you're doing something in preparation for something else, in Japanese, you just take the te form of any verb and add oku. Now this oku comes from the verb oku, which is to place something or to put something, for example, on a table. And there is a kanji. どうしたの? What's up? What's wrong? R さんと食べに行こうと思います。
I just decided on the spot.
Decided to go eat with R. What?
食べに行こうと思います。
何? The one thing you plan on doing in the new year. And this is what I plan on doing in the new year.
日本語を日本語を 日本語を勉強する becomes, what does する become? In the volitional form, する becomes show. In the new year, 日本語を勉強しようと思っています。Okay.
ラーメンを食べようと思っています。I've been thinking I will eat ramen in the new year. Doing things in preparation with 手置く。
手置く, yeah, easy. 手置く.
To say you're doing
Do
something in
things in the
preparation, for
preparation.
something else, in Japanese, you just take the te form.
Do things in preparation. So, 手置く. Doing things in preparations. Doing things in preparations for the future. So, 手置く, te form, plus 置く.
Of any verb, and add oku. Now this oku comes from the verb oku, which is to place something or to put something, for example, on a table. And there is a kanji for that, but when you use this form, teoku, you're not going to use the kanji for the verb oku, which is once again to place something. Now, when you conjugate it, you conjugate oku as a godan verb, so you just conjugate it like this. Shite oku. Shite okimasu. Shite oko. You can use the volitional. Shite okimashou. You can use the polite volitional. Shite oita. Past tense. Shite okimashita. Polite past tense. So you just conjugate it like a godan verb. I just wanted to point that out. Here, you're conjugating the oku part. Now, when you use teoku, which I'm going to get into the example sentences soon, but I just want to mention really quickly that in conversation, teoku often becomes toku. So, by the way, this is suru. Suru becomes shite, right? Shite will often become shitoku in conversation. So if you're listening to a TV show or you're listening to anime or you're listening to someone, talking to you, if they say shitoku...
Let's write them. Okay, let's write the conjugation. I don't know, I have to write them. So, shite oku. Oku become shite okimasu. Shite okimasu. Shite okimasu, okay. Okimasu. And shite oko, shite oko, which is the volitional, of course. And shite okimashou, which is the polite volitional. Okimashou. Shite okita, which is the past tense. Shite okimashita. Okay.
The oku part. Now, when you use teoku, which I'm going to get into the example sentences soon, but I just want to mention really quickly that in conversation, teoku often becomes toku. So, by the way, this is suru. Suru becomes shite, right? Shite will often become shitoku in conversation. So if you're listening to a TV show or you're listening to anime or you're listening to someone, talking to you, if they say shitoku or tabetoku, they're talking about teoku. This is very, very common in conversation. You're not going to see it in books or anything unless it's a dialogue.
Shitoite.
But in conversation, almost all the time, shite oite becomes shitoite. Shite oita becomes shitoita. Shite oko becomes shitoko. Shitoko. right? It's a little bit confusing, but just know that that's how it will show up a lot in conversation. So let's go over some example sentences so we can.
So しておいた becomes しといた. しておこう becomes しておいた. Okay, let's write them. Okay. しておいた. Okay, おいた becomes して let's become like this. becomes しとこしといた. しといた. And しておこう becomes しとこう. Ko becomes しとこう. Okay.
しとこう.
しとこう.
Right? It's a little bit confusing, but just know that that's how it will show up a lot in conversation. So let's go over some example sentences so we can get a better hang of this. 買っておこう means let's buy it or let's buy something in preparation for something. So for example, if we have a party this week, we have a party this Sunday and we're at the store right now, it's Friday.
Let's buy for the party.
And we're thinking, do we need to buy beer? It's like, I think we have some at home, but maybe we need some more. So we should probably buy some just in case or ahead of time. In that situation, you're going to use ておこう. So 買っておこう. ビールを買っておこう. Let's buy this beer in preparation for the party on Sunday. Let's buy it ahead of time, right? 食べておこう. Let's eat in preparation for something. And then in the more complicated sentences down below, you'll get to see more of what these mean. But yeah, 食べておこう. 食べておく. 食べておく. So I'm going to eat or I will eat or eat in preparation for something. やめておきますか? Shall we quit in preparation for something? 聞いておかなきゃいけません. So we can use the must conjugations here. 聞いておかなきゃいけません. You must prepare yourself for something by listening. So let's do some more complete sentences so you can get a better idea for how this works. カレーを買っておこう. カレーを買っておこう. Let's buy curry in preparation for something. This in preparation for something can actually be pretty vague. Like there doesn't have to be a decided event in time. It can just be, let's buy curry so that we have curry because sometimes we want to eat curry, right? So we could be at the store and just, カレー買っておこうか. 買っておこうか.
カレー買っておこうか.
We should probably buy curry. And the implication is in preparation for the next time we actually want to eat it so that we have it. So that's another situation you can use. It's actually very common in that kind of situation. 今日は長いからたくさん食べておく. In preparation for this long day, I'm going to eat. Or today is going to be very long. So in preparation for that, I'll eat a lot. I forgot to put たくさん. I'll eat a lot. たくさん食べておく. I forgot to put that in the English, but this should be I'll eat a lot. All right, here's a very short conversation. 難しそうですね. It looks difficult, doesn't it? 難しそうならやめといてもいいよ. 難しそうならやめといてもいいよ. Probably should have dropped the も with toku. This very casual form, it probably would be more common to just say 難しそうならやめといていいよ. やめといてもいいよ. Either way is fine. 難しそうですね. 難しそうならやめといていいよ. Either way, right? If it looks difficult, you can go ahead and quit. You can go ahead and, because it looks difficult, you're quitting in preparation for it to be difficult. You know it's going to be difficult, so you're quitting ahead of time before anything goes wrong. You're preparing for that. This is a little weird. But that's the kind of situations you're going to be using it in. Let's go ahead and see if the dialogue helps you understand a little bit more. Slowly one time, full speed. Go over the English translation. なんで家で食べようと思っているんですか? 高いからうちで食べておこうと思っ ています。そうですか。
そうですか。
何か買いたいものがあるんですか？いいえ、特にないですよ。でも、お金をたくさん貯めておきたいです。なんで家で食べようと思っているんですか？高いからうちで食べておこうと思っています。そうですか。何か買いたいものがあるんですか？いいえ、特にないですよ。でも、お金をたくさん貯めておきたいです。Let's go over the English. なんで家で食べようと思っているんですか？ Why did you decide to eat at home? なんで Why did you decide と思っているんですか？ To eat at home. 家で食べようと思っているんですか？ So this is why did you decide? Why are you thinking to eat at home? The in this is asking for an explanation. They want an explanation. They don't understand why you would want to do such a thing. 高いから because it's expensive. Eating out is what's implied here. うちで食べておこうと思っています. Interesting point here. We've got 家 and うち. Same kanji, different readings, usually by preference. This person, why are you eating at your house or at your home? Uchi is generally just for the word home as opposed to house, but you can use them interchangeably, to be honest. 高いからうちで食べておこうと思っています. It's expensive, and because it's expensive, that's why I'm eating at home in preparation for that.
高いから
And preparation's weird, but that's why I'm eating at home because I'm thinking ahead to the fact that it's expensive. And that's what that おこ means. そうですか。何か買いたいものがあるんですか？ I see. Is there something you want to buy? That んですか is asking for more explanation. 何か買いたいものがあるんですか？ This 買いたいもの, this is going to be in the next section, and that's modifying nouns with full sentences. 何か買いたいものがあるんですか？ I see. Is there something you want to buy? いいえ、特にないですよ。でも、お金を this is the wrong color. たくさん貯めておきたいです。No, nothing in particular. But, actually it's fine. I want to save a lot of money. This verb does not show up until quite a bit later in Genki, but I really wanted to use it. 貯めるmeans to save. Specifically, usually money. Not always, but it means to save like money. If I want to save money, 貯める, I'm going to save lots of money. 貯めておきたい. I want to save in preparation for something a lot of money. And I guess that's the end of that section. We'll find out why in a little bit. The description in Genki is the te form of a verb plus the helping verb oku describes an action performed in preparation for something. That's it. That's the full description in Genki. So if you just want to think about it that way and not worry about the slightly more complex usages of it, I think that's fine. You're going to be able to do the exercises in here and everything perfectly fine, because that's the only way I believe that they use it. But there are other ways you're going to hear it. You're going to hear people say kare wo katte oko in the store, and you're going to be like, in preparation for what?
What is going on thing you're doing
it's preparation? Just in preparation for sort of an invisible event that may come one day, probably in preparation for some time we may want to eat curry. So it can be a subtle thing that you're preparing for, but it's always in preparation for something. But if you want to just think about it as more concrete events, I'm preparing to go to Japan, and that makes you understand it better, stick with that for now. More exposure is really the only way it's going to make more sense. Yes, I guess you only use this for a planning phase, I suppose, but you're always planning to do something all the time. So there's always something you're going to be doing in the future at all times, which means like at all times in your life, you're probably preparing to do
only problem
something.
is the shitoku.
It's a little philosophical, I guess. But like today, I was working on a video. So everything I did in relation to that video was preparing to release it. I was working on this lesson. Everything I did in preparation for this lesson for the past 2 weeks, I would be using teoku to describe what I was doing. So if I was working on the slides, I would use teoku because I was making those slides in preparation for this lesson. So you use it very, very frequently because you're always preparing for something. You're going to Japan soon. What is one thing you will do in preparation? For example, チケットを買っておく. I'm going to buy a ticket in preparation for going to Japan. チケットを買っておく. I'm trying to hype everyone up for going to Japan. Soon, so you're going soon. What are you going to do in preparation for that? I'm going to チケットを 買っておく. I'm gonna buy a ticket in preparation. Modifying nouns with sentences. This is a little bit easier.
Short
To
form
modify a noun with a
sentences.
sentence, all you need is a short form sentence. So a sentence that ends in any short form verb. It can be any tense. So for example, present tense, past tense, negative, potential form. But so a sentence that ends in any short form verb. It can be any tense. So for example, present tense, past tense, negative, potential form, potential negative, potential past negative. You can use anything as long as it ends in the short form. Now,
Short form sentence. Tense.
any short form verb. It can be any tense. So for example, present tense, past tense,
食べるケーキ
negative, potential form, potential negative, potential past negative. You can use anything as long as it ends in the short form. Now, modifying nouns, it's the same as modifying nouns with adjectives, e-adjectives, non-adjectives, whatever. It's just that you can actually do it with verbs as well. You just need to do it in the casual forms, the base forms, or whatever you want to call them. So some examples of this would be 借りた本.
So it's just the verb 食べるケーキ
It can be any tense. So for example, present tense.
食べる
In any short form verb,
Any
it can be
short form.
any tense. So for example,
食べるケー
present
キ
tense, past
食べ
tense,
たケーキ食べないケ
negative,
ーキ
potential
食
form,
べられる
potential
ケーキ
negative, potential
食べらな
past negative.
ケーキ
You can use anything as long as it ends in the short form. Now, modifying nouns, it's the same as modifying nouns with adjectives, e-adjectives, non-adjectives, whatever. It's just that you can actually do it with verbs as well. You just need to do it in the casual forms, the base forms, or whatever you want to call them. So some examples of this would be 借りた本, book I borrowed, 借りた本をやっと返しました. I finally returned the book I borrowed. What kind of book? The one I borrowed. 借りた本をやっ
借りた本をやっと返しました。
と、やっと means finally. やっと返しました. Our next sentence is 昨日作っといたカレーを食べてね. Eat the curry I made yesterday, okay? Another way you could translate this into English would be eat the curry I made for you yesterday in preparation for today. So I made that curry yesterday so that you could eat it today. Right? That's why I made the curry.
借りた本をやっと返しました。I finally returned the book I borrowed. 借りた本をやっと返しました。Wait, what? I finally? So やっと means finally. 借りた本 the book, I finally returned the book I borrowed. So so modifying nouns. The book that I borrowed.
Borrowed. 借りた本をやっと means finally.
借りた本をやっと返しました。
Our next sentence is 昨日作っといたカレーを食べてね. Eat the curry I made yesterday, okay? Another way you could translate this into English would be eat the curry I made for you yesterday in preparation for today. So I made that curry yesterday so that you could eat it today. Right? That's why I made the curry. 昨日作っといたカレーを食べてね. Yuki will say stuff like, or I might say something like this if I made lunch for her. I made that lunch so that she could eat it later. So, 作っといたお弁当を食べてね. It's a very common thing I say all the time because the reason I made that was I prepared it so that she could eat it later, or she prepared it so I could eat it later.
昨日作っといた
カレーを食べてね. So, but the point of this is I am modifying the word カレー with 昨日作っといた. So, which curry? The one I made yesterday in preparation for you to eat it today. 昨日作っといたカレー. That's what I want you to eat. The curry I made yesterday, okay? あの時、たけしと話していたゲームを覚えている買ったよ. Alright, so here's our noun, game. And what game is it? It's the one I talked to you. I'm talking to Takeshi right now. Takeshi about that one time. So あの時, that one time. Takeshi と話していた. Talk to you about. 話していた
話していた、たけしと話していたゲーム、the game that he talked about. 昨日作っておいたカレー。The curry I made. Okay.
You about game. So you, I'm saying you is Takeshi. There's no san there, so you can pretty much assume that I'm talking to the person whose name I'm using. You usually use people's names. You don't say you. You could say anata to hanashite ita game. But if I'm talking to a person named Takeshi and I know them, it's more common for me to say Takeshi to hanashite ita game wo oboeteiru. Do you remember that game? What game? The one I talked to you about that time. Katta yo. I bought it. That was a complicated sentence. Let's go ahead and jump into the dialogue. I'll read it slowly one time and then at full speed. もう家を買った友達がいていいなと思って私も買いたくなりました。すごいですね。
すごいですね。
どんな家が欲しいですか？庭が広くて1回しかない家がいいと思います。いいですね。私ならペットを飼える家が欲しいですね。Full speed. もう家を買った友達がいていいなと思って私も買いたくなりました。すごいですね。どんな家が欲しいですか？庭が広くて1回しかない家がいいと思います。いいですね。私ならペットを飼える家が欲しいですね。Let's go over the English. So the noun here is 友達. So which friend? もう家を買った。The friend who already bought a house. もう is already. The friend who already bought a house. がいて exists. That person exists, but I'm connecting it to the next sentence, so I use the te form. いていいなと思って I was jealous. いいな means I'm jealous, basically. That's what いいな basically means. いいな I'm jealous. と思って I thought, but I want to connect it to something else. I thought it, so I use the te form. 私も買いたくなりました。I also became want to buy a house. We usually use became want to buy something. Sounds weird in English.
So the friend もう家を買った友達がいて So the friend that already bought the house I've become jealous of the friend that already bought the house. 私も I also 買いたくなりました。I also become want to buy a friend. I also want to buy a friend now. Want to buy the house now.
That's what we say. I also wanted to buy one.
Not a friend.
Because of all of this. So I became want to buy it. 買いたくなりました。すごいですね。
すごいですね。
Wow. どんな家が欲しいですか？ What kind of house do you want? One thing, there was a lot of grammar points there. The main grammar point from this section was this right here. 友達もう家を買った。That's what's modifying 友達. It's the friend who already bought a house. That's the main part you have to worry about right now. I know there's a lot going on. 庭が広くて1回しかない家がいいと思います。So what kind of house? We've got our noun right here. I'll tell you what kind of house. 庭が広くて1回しかない. So the verb we're using is ない, the negative of ある. That's the house I'm talking about. A house with a big yard and nothing but one floor. That's what's modifying house. いいですね.
Wait, I think と思います。I think a house with a big yard 庭が広くて、広い means wide or a big and only one floor 1階広くて and 1階しかない would be good. So why is it negative though? With only it's negative because it's しかない。Only one, as many as one. 家がいいと思います。Okay, understand.
私ならペットを飼える家が欲しいですね。What kind of house does R-san want? Well, they want a house where they can raise pets. Or they can have pets. So this is the potential form of 飼う which means to have a pet or to raise a pet or to own a pet. So ペットを飼える家. A house where you can raise pets. So what I want you to do is I want you to describe this picture using a full sentence or a verb. So I want you to use a verb in any short form tense, negative, past, present. You could also use teiru. Teiru is also perfectly fine. And describe the dog. So inu is the noun that you're going to be modifying with a full sentence. My sentence might be...
Okay, a dog with a sentence. Happy dog. Ureshii inu. Ureshii inu. Ureshii inu.
Nureteiru inu, for example. Nureteiru inu. So
what
it's
does
a wet
nurette mean?
dog.
Ah, wet dog.
All right, this next picture, I'm not sure how you can describe it. You can describe it in any way you want, but describe the very...
Colorful o... No. Colorful... Or, yeah, colorful image or something else. What to say about this?
various things on this page using a full sentence or just a verb to modify the noun. So for example, 左にあるコップ. The cup that's on the left. 左にあるコップ. All right, guys, so that brings us to the end of the lesson 15 video.
Lesson 15. So
it was short, but I guess a little bit more complicated than I expected. Thumbs up. Whoa. Koge.
Thumbs up.
Good evening.
We also wrap it up here. So we still have a few more. Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi. 8 more lessons. And we are done. And I think we wrap it up here. 2.5 hours is good. Cofelio, thank you very much for coming by here. New friend we make. And Clemens Janko, thank you very much for giving some valuable information. I wish you comment more. I wish you comment more and correct me. There is like giving insight from a Japanese person and saying how they actually use the grammar, how you actually use the grammar, and some points that are very necessary in your casual conversation is very important. Like your insight as a native person are very, very important and very necessary. I am trying to also find a native Japanese who can help me, you know. Sometime I'll try to find in the future. But yeah, thank you very much. Yuki is not here with us. We'll see him tomorrow. And I'll be here tomorrow for sure. So, mata ashita. Clemenzenko, hopefully you come. I see you again. Mata ashita. And mata ashita here as well. Mata ashita. Cofelio, if you are here, thank you very much for coming by. And yeah, we wrap it up. Maybe watch one video before we go. Maybe watch one video. Okay, let's just watch one video before we go. From Utah. A short video. Okay, like 3 minutes. A 3-minute video. If there is a 3-minute video. Oh, there is. A day in life in Sendai. Okay. Let's just watch Sendai. Okay. Let's learn where. Oh, okay, let's learn where. Okay.
皆さんこんにちは。日本語ラーニングのゆうたです。この動画ではどこを勉強しましょう。どこを勉強しましょう。それじゃあ、Let's go! ここはどこですか？ここはどこですか？ここは車の中です。ここは車の中です。今日は天気がいいのでとっても暑いです。今日は天気がいいのでとっても暑いです。ここはどこですか？ここはどこですか？ここはどこですか？ここはどこですか？ここは車の中です。ここは車の中です。今日は天気がいいのでとっても 暑いです。今日は天気がいいので、とっても暑いです。ここはどこですか？
ここはどこですか？
ここは山形駅です。ここは山形駅です。
The station, 山田ステーション。
駅には電車とかバスがたくさんあります。電車とかバスがたくさんあります。なので、たくさんの人が駅にはいます。たくさんの人が駅にはいます。ここには昔の日本の建物があります。ここには昔。
Here, there are a lot of Japanese style 建物 buildings.
の日本の建物があります。とっても綺麗だと思います。とっても綺麗だと思います。新生はどこですか？新生はどこですか？新生はベンチにいます。新生はベンチに座っています。今日のお昼ご飯に何を食べる？ベンチに座っています。今日のお昼ご飯に何を食べるかベンチに座って考えています。今日のお昼ご飯に何を食べるかベンチに座って考えています。
He is sitting on the bench, ベンチに座って考えています and thinking.
僕はどこにいますか？僕はどこにいますか？
Where am I now?
僕は木の下にいます。僕は木の下にいます。
I am under the tree, below the tree.
今日は天気が良くてとっても暑いので、木の下はとっても涼しいです。木の下はとっても涼しくて気持ちがいいです。僕はどこにいますか？僕はどこにいますか？僕は木の裏にいます。僕は木の裏にいました。ドラゴンボールはどこですか？ドラゴンボールはどこですか？探しましょう。
Let's look for him. ドラゴンボール。
どこだ？うわ、あった。はい、ドラゴンボールが茂みの中にありました。ドラゴンボールが茂みの中にありました。ドラゴンボールは7個集めると夢を叶えることができます。ドラゴンボールを7個集めると夢を叶えることができます。あと6個探したいと思います。Let's go! はい、動画を見てくれてありがとうございます。今日の授業はこれでおしまいです。皆さんは街のどこによく行きますか？皆さんは街のどこによく行きますか？ぜひコメントで教えてください。あと、この動画が面白かったら、ぜひチャンネル登録といいねもお願いします。じゃあ、以上です。バイバイ。
Okay, done. Watch more videos. Okay, I think done. Okay. 8 more days. So 8 more days, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. 8. Where's 8? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Here, 3 of February, we finish with the playlist. Okay, 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day, okay. So, okay, let's done. Let's wrap it up and go and come back tomorrow, okay? Okay, I think we're done. Conjugation, past, related grammar points. Ta, nai, te form, teiru. So, dai, tagaru, nagaru, nasai, command form, yasui, ba, nikui, reru, rareru, yo. Okay, yeah, definitely read this page. The basic Godan, Ichidan, Godan, disguise, irregular, beyond the basics, also consonant removal.